I hate that we get our news from social media. Welcome to Grumble Goat. I'm Veronique Hurley. This is a show about all the small things that drive Matt insane. This week, it's my grumble. Let's grumble. You know, it's a catch-22 because I'll go into social media, mainly Instagram. That's my social media of choice. And sometimes I follow ABC, I follow all those things, and I do get some news updates from Instagram. And this started pandemic-wise. That's when I started finding out news from Instagram, which I just think is like kind of weird. I think we should keep news where news is supposed to be, and that's on the news. Like, we find out from journalists and they tell us the news because there's so much misinformation out there right now. What's really grinding my gears right now is the fact that our Congress, our government, is literally talking on X and telling us what's going on, but it's all a lie. It's all a facade. It's all a ruse. They're just flooding the zone. They're flooding the zone with ridiculous things that don't make any sense. The news, like when I watch the BBC, because I can't watch American news anymore, they're reading Elon Musk's tweets. They're reading that as if it's official news. And this is the part that I have a huge problem about. I don't think people should be allowed to announce things via Twitter or via X or whatever you want to call it. I think X is a stupid name. Twitter sounds more like what it is because it's like a little birdie in your ear, and that's exactly what it feels like. All of this is nonsense. Why do I care about how many children this man has? Like, why do I have to see his child in the Oval Office? Like, what is happening? If that was a woman, forget about it. She would have been ridiculed out of office. Like, why is this happening? You know, in the Middle Ages, people would have town criers, and also rumors and gossip. Traveling merchants would give news before we had the internet, before we had newspapers. You know, it was a lot of word of mouth. And this Twitter X business is like its own word of mouth, and it's creating chaos, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate listening to news outlets read tweets, and that's the grumble.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
What?
Grumble, 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 grumble. What's got your goat?
For the latter half of the show, we'll bring in my lesser half, Matt, for a pretentious look and a segment we call
What's got your goat?
Veronique, welcome to the studio.
Matt, welcome to the studio.
Oh, right. It's your grumble.
It's my grumble.
Okay, you're the host today.
Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day to you, Veronique.
No, wrong. Psych.
Psych.
It's not in the calendar.
There's no International Women's Day?
It's not in the American calendars.
Okay.
It's an international holiday.
Wait, did you just wish me a happy International Women's Day and then tell me that there is no International Women's Day?
I sure did.
Okay.
Because supposedly it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. Well, happy Transgender Turtle Day to you.
Are you making a joke?
Well, I don't
This
think...
is very serious. This is a very serious thing right now. Every day is Man's Day. Every day is Man's Day.
Wait, hold on. Well, then why didn't you start with that? Why didn't you wish me a happy Man's Day?
Because that's not today. I guess that's every day. Okay. Happy Man's Day.
Thank you very much, Veronique. And happy Man's Day to you. What's going on here? Did you look up International Women's Day and find out that it was not a thing?
Okay. It's been brought to my attention.
Oh, it's been brought to your attention.
It's been brought to my attention that
Okay.
it is no longer in our calendars.
No longer?
Yes.
It was there.
It was 100% there.
Do you know why it is no longer?
I think we know why.
Oh, okay.
I think we know why. Okay.
Okay.
I think because there's no International Man's Day.
Oh, okay.
I think some men are getting offended. But if people are getting offended, then we should just make one.
Okay. So everybody that's offended, we should appease.
I mean, that's a good point.
Okay.
And yes, okay? Like, let's just, like, make sure everyone feels like they are loved. But, like, cisgender white man, no offense.
Okay. Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Okay.
Gets offended if they're Are you okay?
I'm offended that you would call me out like that.
Are you
so blatantly?
Are you okay?
Am I okay?
Yeah.
Historically, I'm doing pretty great.
You are doing fantastic.
I'm doing pretty good.
Historically. Yeah.
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 Glass ceiling is still firmly in place.
It
there.
sure
Yeah.
is. So I'm upset about that.
Okay.
Now, do you think that we would have received that news any other way except, a colleague sharing that?
A
with
word
me?
of mouth.
Yes.
So
word
this
of mouth.
isn't even like social media. This is word of mouth.
This is word of mouth.
Okay. Yeah. That's the future of getting messages across.
Yes.
Yeah. Because all the
Future.
social media is controlled by the billionaires now. So they're suppressing the real news.
That's what I'm saying.
Veronique, I just out of curiosity, how did you celebrate International Women's Day last year?
Not last year, but a few years ago, I put a woman's puzzle together.
A woman's puzzle.
Yes.
Okay, so you sat in a room
In
by
a room.
yourself and
Yes.
put a puzzle together?
Yes.
Well, happy International
Thank
Women's Day
you.
to you.
But that's the thing. I should be able to do whatever I want.
That's right. You are an international woman.
I am. I've been international.
Yeah.
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 So social media is controlled by the oligarchs.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Or is it the algorithm?
The algorithm.
Now-
you think the algorithm hates international women?
No, because someone programs it.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's
Is
a
it AI?
mystery.
Everything seems to be AI now.
Now, that's interesting. AI is like, I am a sentient being. There is no man or woman.
Somebody does control it because Mark Zuckerberg came out and said that thing where he was like, we're not fact checking anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. He was just, it was like after the election.
Yes.
He was like, okay, we're not going to fact check anymore. It seems like nobody cares about facts anyway.
Now, what I found so interesting is that why would they have to fact check if it's a social media app? So
Right.
the social media is like, oh, I'm connecting with you. We're chatting.
Yeah.
I'm posting about my life. But like social media is social media. The media part is just like videos, right?
Social media is everything. It's media, so it's everything. Like multimedia. You can share a picture of the food you're about to eat.
That's right.
Or you can share a video of a baby's first steps.
Ooh, baby's first steps.
Or you can share a news article about how Russia is controlling the weather with electromagnetic waves.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah. So, like, why do we have to fact check?
Yes.
It's because there's a lot of liars in the world.
Whoa. No.
So the social media now it's the modern day Roman forum.
Isn't that interesting? We started yelling from a soapbox, and that's how news would get around. And sometimes the king would say, here's my declaration, read that aloud, word for word.
Word for word.
Word for word.
Word for word.
And if you-
typos and all. Kofefi and everything. It used to be that a funny thing happened on the way to the forum.
Right.
And you would tell that story.
Yes.
But now a funny thing happens in the forum.
In the forum.
And that's that you become a white supremacist.
It's crazy.
A funny thing happened to me in the forums
In the
today.
forum?
I became a Nazi.
Whoa. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I was a Nazi, but it was awoken
It is
in me.
awoken in me.
Turns out the real Nazi was inside of us the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah. Isn't social media grand?
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah. It's the town notice board of all these different things.
It really is the
Do you want
town-
guitar lessons? Click, take that. Ooh, no masking? I'll take a bit of that too, please. Let's mesh it all together into the algorithm.
Right? Social media is so big. It's so vast.
It's vast.
And we couldn't just have one place for social media, right? We couldn't just have Facebook. So there's different versions for different people.
Okay.
And the one that I really hate is Twitter.
Twitter/X. Twitter. I never got into Twitter.
I never got into Twitter either.
I don't get it.
Twitter is very difficult because it's about words. And like, yes, people would write jokes, right? And I thought, oh, I'm clever. Like I could say something. And then I never said anything because any joke that I would make would sound rude, obnoxious, like mean.
I am too nervous to post some of the jokes that I have.
Oh my gosh.
Because
I
I'm
know.
like, it will come back. Like I will get canceled.
Everyone gets offended these days. There's no way that like everyone didn't feel loved by their parents. Like I don't know. Like but they get offended and it's ridiculous.
Everyone's offended all the time.
Everyone's offended
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, but with Twitter, I don't know what to do on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Like you scroll,
Yeah.
like on Instagram or Facebook, you scroll,
Yeah.
and then there's just a bunch of sentences.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm like, people are talking about things going viral, and like things have a bunch of retweets and things have a bunch of replies, and I'm like, but where is that
Where
stuff?
is it? Yes.
I don't know what to look for.
No, it's totally
Do
confusing.
I have to click on it to see that? I don't know what to do.
And it's like, I don't understand how our politicians are like tweeting.
Yeah, they're tweeting things, and I see on Reddit screen grabs
Yes.
from Twitter of like really interesting dynamic conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is this when I'm on the app?
Yeah, where is
I don't
it?
know.
I don't know how to get that.
I'm like, I don't get it. I've tweeted like 8 times. It doesn't make any sense.
It's ridiculous. So my grumble today is about the news reporting tweets.
Yeah.
Yes.
This started, I remember when maybe 2008 or something, when like they'd have the presidential debates and they'd show a little graph
Yeah.
going up and down based on what's being said. And I guess they had a room full of morons that were just like pressing like or dislike at every sentence that they heard
Wow.
in presidential debate. And I was like, stop doing that.
Stop doing
What?
that.
I'm not at all interested in seeing a graph of what some 40 morons in a room think
Yeah.
of what's being said.
Yeah, they're obviously morons.
Like, wait, when did we start reacting to one sentence at
Yes,
a time?
Exactly.
When somebody's giving a 2-minute answer or rebuttal,
Right.
like you have to listen to the argument.
Absolutely.
It's these sentence clips that don't make sense. You can't react to one sentence.
You can't.
And so now all of a sudden we're televising reacting to one sentence at a time.
No.
And it's bonkers.
It's
And
bonkers,
yeah.
yeah.
So now on the news or on the late night talk show hosts,
Yeah.
they'll like put up a clip of one person's one sentence opinion on something.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is this news to put this on TV?
How is it news? And when it isn't just a random person, when it is a person of power, when it is our government officials that we've elected, and they're arguing over tweets, and then news outlets are just reading the argument via
right.
Twitter.
Just reading it on Twitter instead of, say, journalism.
I mean, I understand that there's a transparency because people are like, the government's out to get us, blah, blah, blah. You know, they're not telling us anything.
But when people in the government are
Right.
the ones tweeting the government's out to get us.
Right.
Like,
what do we believe?
what are we supposed to do? News.
they're the government.
Don't tell us that tweet. Get in there and find out, A, if the government is out to get us,
Yeah.
or B, if politicians are using tweets to misguide us.
Exactly.
Don't just read the tweet.
Yes.
Do some journalism.
Do some journalism.
Find out who's lying, maybe.
Yeah, but no one's reading those articles. So.
Stephen Colbert
Yes.
once said of George W. Bush, he admired his conviction because he said that George W. Bush will believe the same thing on Monday that he believes on Wednesday, no matter what happened on Tuesday. Now, that's very funny, but the world has changed since George W. Bush's time.
Yeah.
And now everybody believes on Monday whatever was tweeted on Monday, and they believe on Wednesday whatever was tweeted on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like there's no memory of Tuesday or even Monday at that point.
No, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's
It's
in the
fleeting.
ether.
It's scrolled through our memory just like it scrolls through the annals of Twitter.
That's right.
Yeah.
And gets lost.
It's lost somewhere in the ether. It's gone.
It's gone.
And there's no more fact checking.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the thing about fact checking, people don't believe the fact checking because who's fact checking it? Do they believe what we believe? You know, Republicans and Democrats, they're getting their news in completely different places.
Yeah.
Completely different places.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
don't know.
ideally.
Ideally, they should.
Ideally.
It's a fact. A fact is something that you can't dispute.
Right. Ideally,
Yeah.
fact checking means these are the series of events.
Yeah. And this is what happened.
Right. Like when there's video evidence of something,
Yes.
you can say, oh, this is the factual evidence. But
Yes.
even nowadays, looking at, I mean, January
Yes.
6th
I was
comes to
gonna
mind.
bring that up too. Yeah.
January 6th. I watched it
I watched
live
it on
with
TV.
my eyeballs.
I watched it too, and I said to myself,
And I'm like, oh.
look at all these. This is a Trump rally, and then now they're storming the Capitol, and now I'm going to go to work, and I feel weird.
Everybody in the nation can see the same video footage and come to different conclusions.
Two different conclusions
about what might have happened on January 6th.
Right, but
and some people are saying that the Trump supporters tried to overthrow the due process of a democratically elected election.
Yes.
And other people look at that footage and they say, obviously the FBI is working with Antifa to put a bunch of plants into place to make it look like Donald Trump is evil.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's that.
It's all
I
Antifa.
didn't see that subtlety.
Yeah.
Like I was mainly watching the action. I wasn't looking at everybody's name tags.
It's really interesting of how many Antifa members the president just let out, right?
Yeah.
If it was Antifa.
He pardoned all the Antifa members. He was like, I forgive you.
He pardoned them.
I forgive you for trying to make me look like a bad person.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't make sense, right? It wasn't Antifa. It was his people. He just pardoned them.
Well, that's your opinion.
Of course.
You're entitled to your opinion, but you're wrong.
You know what? I'm just an international woman, so I know that you wouldn't.
There's no such thing as international women. It was canceled. I like that these days we use the term misinformation.
Right.
Misinformation. Oh, it's just let's sprinkle that with a little misinformation. We used to call this lies and propaganda.
Right.
Now it's just, it's misinformation. Like it's like at work when you get in trouble for something terrible and you say, I think we had a miscommunication.
Yes.
You know, you're downplaying what happened. You're being like, okay, I think we didn't understand each other. It was a little miscommunication.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Now we just call all of it it was just misinformation.
This is misinformation.
Oh.
How do you miss all of that information?
Yeah.
How do you miss it all?
Yeah, it used to be held to a higher standard when you lied to everybody's face.
Yeah.
It used to be everybody wore a nice suit and tie and a top hat as they lied to your face.
Yeah.
But now they just scream at your face that the immigrants are coming for your babies. I don't know what the discourse is right now.
It's just so wild. It's just gotten so low class.
So what do we do about it? How do we turn Twitter around?
Well, we cancel our account for sure.
Okay, that's it. No more Twitter for us.
No more Twitter.
You and I, done with Twitter.
It's over.
What about the rest of it? What about the rest of social media? What about the no fact checking? Do we fact check? Is it you and I? Do we go in there and comment on everything that's wrong?
Yeah, right. Well, that was the thing that I had to think before I even talked about the International Women's Day. I felt like I had to fact check myself.
You actually did research before just rage posting?
Well, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Yeah.
Rage posting is how you get your information across.
I would never rage post.
Now, the problem is, if we try and go in and comment on every falsehood, the algorithm is going to think we're interested in all the falsehoods.
That's right.
All of a sudden, it's going to start feeding us.
Yes.
It's going to brainwash us. Next thing you know, we're going to be clawing our vaccines back out of our bloodstream. It's my RNA. No, they're trying to get at my adrenochromes. Where's my ivermectin?
This has been a bonus episode of Grumble Goat.
Thanks for listening.
I'm Veronique Hurley.
I'm Matt Labodka. Please subscribe.
You hate when people say, please subscribe.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
A funny thing happened on the way to the forum. You become a white supremacist.
We did it. We've conquered another one of life's little annoyances. But the truth is, what I really hate is commercials. And I'll wager you do too. And that's why Grumble Goat is proudly commercial-free. But to keep it that way, it takes the support of fellow grumblers like you. If you hate commercials, head on over to our Patreon page and see if becoming a Grumble Kid is right for you. And, as always, don't forget to Grumble Goat responsibly and share with a friend.
Grumble, 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 grumble. Pa, 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 pa.